And welcome back to the channel on another LS swap part to the 87 Trans Am. There we go. I'm just going to remove the fuel hose off the fuel lines, and I'm going to install the swap mounting plates. I was using this cheap Chinese 4-scope camera thing with a light that I got off eBay for like $7. Actually works pretty good. And I had to locate the two washers from the previous clamshell motor mounts that were on the engine cradle. So they were tucked down in there, and I fished them out and found them with some magnets. One other quick thing I'd like to do is get this the original PCM mounting hardware where it goes under the dash, tucks up like that. Actually it tucks up like this, facing us in the cabin. Now I know that the Gen 3 computer is way bigger and this bracket's not going to work, but if I can somehow use one side and then maybe zip this off so I can mount it in the same place, or just use this and use an existing band around it, I don't know. But these are 10 millimeters, so I'm going to keep this and I'm going to sell this. I still don't have any brake cleaner, so we're just going to roll with what we got. And pretend that they're good enough. Okay, I am going to once these over with a rag. For some reason I seem to have left one of the bolts out, but they're all 6 here. You can clearly see where the old mounts were. But if I remember right, when I put these plates in on the other two 3rd gens I did LS1 and 2, I know I have to disconnect my brake line. Is it, I think it's that one. It sits at an angle. Man, it's so hard to remember. Yeah, I think it's this bottom one, the 2 original, and then that one over there. Let me get them and try and angle it up. Maybe I'll look online, other people that did it. Man, it's been so long ago. For the tune port, you've got to come off. I'm jumping all over the place in this video from one thing to the other, but this is where I need it to be. I need to disconnect the fuel lines from the fuel hoses right here. I don't know why I did that. Oh well. But we're going to let them soak and we'll break them loose in a minute. Let's go get the plates and try and remember how to mount these up. They're 10 millimeter, what else? And I did find my receipt. I replaced both the left and right, and I ordered them from Plastic Industries. I did not do the rear, which clearly you can tell from the material compared to them two. Try and move this out of the way. I also have to change, maybe not the master cylinder, but the brake booster, because last time I was driving, if I remember right, the brake booster was acting up. The pedal was way too stiff. I do have a whole set off the 91 parts car I had that I got this interior from. It's in the back of the car in the hatch. So maybe I'll do that this video. I don't know. Look at all that. marked right side. I don't know if it's showing up on camera. Now, maybe that's not it. Now I believe that is where it goes. I seem to remember it using this back bolt though. And then this is an adjustable one, which I don't remember using. So I'm gonna have to double check on this. If I do the left hand side, I can get all 4 bolt holes lined up, even though it only uses the 3. And I believe this is the correct positioning. I'm almost positive this is exactly where this goes, because I know it's further back, because when you use the F-body oil pan, I mean, it is a tight squeeze. It's going to be just, you know, 1/4 of an inch in between the K-member and the oil pan, which maybe I'll clean that in this video too. I got to take the one off of the 5.3. Yep, that's perfect. It's got all 4 holes lined up. The sun's on me, so I don't know what you can see. But that's about right. That was the driver's side. So if I do this one on this side like this, I got this bolt, which is from the previous mount, that bolt from the previous mount, and then that is in the adjustable right here, which I don't remember having this mounted right there. And I need to cut right here. I have to cut right here so I can put the AC compressor on, unless I get the adapter to do the R4 compressor, which would be right here, which is probably what I'll do, not cut the K member, because I want to come back and put a tubular one in here. Maybe that is right. I'm going to go online and double check before I commit to this. Or maybe I'll take the bolts and set them in. Yeah, I'll do that. Then I'll check online. Now, as far as these go, I guess you could pick your poison, but this one, I can see light on the other side, and I can see through it. So we're clearly going to go with what's easier on me. Hopefully that shows you where I'm thinking they go. I don't have any pictures of my last 2 projects, so I'm going to fish online and see if I can find anything that shows this is correct. I've decided I'm committing to that. There's no other possible location after fiddling around. I'm pretty confident the driver's side is correct. I don't think there's no way about it, which means this lines up perfectly. And I seem to remember having 2 bolts on the bottom. Something tells me I remember this sitting above right here. It was off a little bit, but I think this is correct. I'm just going to go with it. They lined up the same. Their angles are the same. They're tilted down. The back side's up further on the tabs, and they're in the same front bolts, so I know they're going to line up. I was thinking about leaving these loose, and then not all the way loose, but just a little bit, and then that way when the motor goes down in, I can have wiggle room and then tighten them. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and tighten these and deal with the headache later, and I'll leave the clamshells loose on the 5.3. gets so familiar being under these cars. And it looks like it's about to rain. So hopefully I can it looks worse on camera. Another day. You should have 2 of these, one for each side, the big washers, and they go on the bottom tab, which would be straight up right there. And you can clearly see where the washer was. Now, I'm just going to be honest and show you what I'm doing. I'm using that little magnet to hold the washer on the frame, and then I have the nut inside this 15 millimeter. Oh yeah, if I didn't say it, oh crap, I'll say it again. The nuts and bolts are 15 millimeter. Because I'm not gonna be digging this through the K-member all day like I have been. So I'm gonna be honest. The big washers I'm gonna attempt to put on the bottom, but these other 4, for the other 3 or the other 4 bolts, I'm not going to use these because I'm not going to go through the hassle. I went through the hassle of digging them out the K-member and finding them dug in here, the 2 I was missing. But we'll try it, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I may just screw the nuts on, because that's just going to be hassle dropping them and everything. But I mean, is it really a dumb idea if it works? Okay, so that actually worked pretty well. Not with my big magnet, but with this little guy that you can get like at AutoZone for $2. It's probably $5 by now. But 15 millimeter. Put my 15 millimeter on this ratchet, and of course I had to use one that locks because I don't know why. And then let's pray that this okay, I did not tighten it all the way. I kept it a tiny bit loose because I'm going to need wiggle room to get to this one. And I don't know if you can see the other one or not. This one. And I'm going to go fishing through the K-member hole, which is right there, which I believe is the secret to getting this done. I'm going to feed the wrench in through there to hold the nut. Okay, what a nightmare. I have the nuts. The last one's right there. All started. This one I went ahead and tightened. And then, wow, I can't see it at all in the camera. Right there. I'm going to tighten that one. I am going through the slot on the K-member right there. I believe that was the intention from the factory. I'm using this ratchet one, and I have my magnet sitting there in case the nut fell off at the time. But let me see if you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. And then I will take my ratchet and go up top. So this is how I got the last bolt to tighten it. Ended up switching to the ratchet. The wrench wasn't working underneath. It just couldn't catch the threads on the nut. So I went up through the K-member, same way you would with the wrench. I had 2 extensions in the swivel with electric tape so it wouldn't move. And then I used my regular old boxing wrench up top. And now all I've got left is this one to finish tightening. Because remember, we left this a little loose so I had wiggle room. So now this one, the easy one, the excess, I will tighten up. Yeah, my elbow popped. Good enough. Sun's coming out. Clouds are disappearing, even though it's going to be dark here in an hour. Okay, that one's on. Let's tighten up that one. The sun is out, but it's cloudy. We'll get this guy on same way. Now I'm only going to be using the bottom big washers again on this side. I don't know why I use plural. It's plural as in one on this side, the big one goes on the bottom, and then I used one on the bottom over there, the big washer. The other washers for the top two we're not using. I'm doing the same method again. I got the magnet on the washer, and I got the extension on the nut. I have no idea if that's even on there. Let's find out. Yep. And then we'll tighten this up. Oh, is that a spider? I was about to run. Tighten this up some, but keep it loose so that we can tighten up the other ones. I'm going to leave this loose so I got wiggle room. But use the ratchet up top or whatever you feel comfortable with. But down bottom, to put this on in the ratchet, to use a socket without a swivel on the right hand passenger side is not going to, no bueno. So use something that's got a bend to it. And we will go through right here again and try and work with them. Let me see if I can see him on camera. This is going to be different than the other side. You know what? Here's a way to tell. If you can see a light. There's one. Where's the... Oh yeah, we're doing two bottoms on this side. That's right. Where's the other one? There it is. You know what? I could probably still get that from... I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I'm doing the second bottom one on the right hand side. This actually was very easy. I'm using the ratchet wrench, and I just twisted up top to try and get the threads connect, and it actually only took about 10 seconds. My impact beam, or the actual bumper, is actually pretty rusted on this car, which is surprising because the rest of the car isn't. Rad support, the power steering line. Alright, back to the project. What you came to see. Yeah, so the third one, I went ahead and once I got it and I tightened it, now I'm going to come back and do the bottom two that I left loose. I don't know how you want to do it, but I am using the ratchet wrench on the inside nut and then a ratchet up top. 15 millimeter. I'll repeat that again. Okay, second one tightened. Now to finish off the last one. And that's it. They're all tight. No washers on these two or this one or the top one. Just the bottom two have those big washers. The passenger side is a lot easier, just like it was taking off. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just my luck. Okay, I got caught up talking to a neighbor. Let's disconnect the fuel lines off of the hard lines to the car. The hose is vice grip size. Yeah, whatever that is. The hard line is, yeah, it's a 5/8. And let's see if we can do it with one hand. Excellent. Boy, oh boy. Well, where's the O-ring? Ooh. It's on there. Need to find something to cap that off with. So on your fuel lines, that's a 5/8, and your hose fitting is a 3/4. The only other thing I want to do in this video is remove my vacuum and this cruise control stuff, clean up the engine bay, because I'm sure I'm going to have to do it a completely different way if I decide to keep cruise in the 5.3. So we got the vacuum line. This runs along there. Goes in through the firewall. Disconnect here. Actually, you know what? Before we get to that, actually, yeah, we'll keep doing this. Okay. And this pigtail, what's this? An extra hose I got sitting down here. And my brake booster. Let's plug that back in. Just so. Wait a minute, that brake booster is getting changed anyways. Who cares? Okay. Unplugged. Plugged. And then you've got these two bolts, which are 10mm. Wait a minute, whoops, wrong way. Two 10mm. washer. And then that's the wire into the cruise control. Feeds in through the firewall. But I think I'm going to leave this so I can see if I can need any of that for this swap. This can get out of here. Another vacuum line. This is for my emissions canister. Or is that for the, whoops, that might be for the horn. I don't know. This is the C1 harness, which is right here, which goes to your headlamps and everything up front, your accessories, your horn. Does this go, is this part of the C1? Or is it separate? No, it does tie into it. I'm not going to need this vacuum. I don't know. That's for the washer, it's way too long. Let's see if we can get these brake lines bolted back in. I'm gonna have to disconnect these fuel lines right there. It's a 10 millimeter because I have to actually disconnect this one. We don't need to go that far back. I want to get all this dirt and crud out from behind these. Now, as far as this goes, I don't remember if I'm going to be able to keep this here from the oil pan. If I remember right, I'm not going to have enough room. But I may try it. I'll put this one in here. It just won't have the guide tab. Try and slide this. The issue with the brake line, clearly we can't get to the bolt hole anymore, so this is just going to be freelancing, I guess. And just stuff the tab down in there. Same thing I did over here. You can't get to the bolt hole, which is right under here, so we just got the center one. Until it doesn't clear at the oil pan, then I got to take that off. We're going to go ahead and get some sandpaper and scuff these up, brake clean them, and then we will spray them with some engine enamel paint and pretend they're brand new. I sprayed these off with brake cleaner before I went and mailed that car's computer I just sold on eBay. We will. I do really need a box or something. Some paint, some Scotch-Brite, some 120 grit, brake cleaner, not in that order. So I'm gonna go over it a little bit with some sandpaper. I think the only other sandpaper I got is like 180 and 600. I'm gonna sand it, I'm gonna clean it. Scotch-Brite to clean it, and then I'm just gonna spray it. Good enough. Get some of this rust off. Ignore the train. The cheapest brake cleaner is like $4 now. Okay, next. I went back over the other one. Alright, so let's clean these off again. And then we'll Scotch Brite them. That's one. Let's Scotch Brite this one now. I'm going to use some of my wax and grease remover. Put it on a old sock that I call rags. Wipe them down, and then we will spray them. Good enough. Here's what I'm working with. I'm using this for the LT1 to clean my surfaces before I put the heads on. This is good for prep and everything. And I've got to open it. That's what we ended up with. We're gonna do this one now. Okay. It's the first coat. And we'll let them bake for a minute. Come back, we'll do one more coat. We'll go the opposite direction. As you can see, it's not on everything. I just did a quick second coat. That's good enough. I don't really think I need to be doing any more. They're just motor mounts. Okay, I guess that ought to do it for this time on part 2 of the LS swap. It's a very slow process in getting everything done, but I'm going to be working tomorrow to get some more done. Probably do head gaskets maybe on the 5.3. Clean the oil pan if I have time, put it on the engine stand, swap the oil pan, do the gasket. And we got the fuel hoses off, we got the cruise control out. We played with the brake line, didn't really do anything. We got the motor mounts in. I fixed that grommet that was bothering me, and nothing really of any significance at all. All right, hopefully that helps someone if they need any pointers on putting the motor mounts in the 3rd Gen F body. I need to order this cap. I need one set of those to remind myself. But that ought to do it. Please subscribe and come along for the LS swap on the 3rd Gen Trans Am. Thanks for watching my junk.